Greetings, everyone. Thank you guys so much for coming out today to the fantastic Marmor's Esports Rainbow Open. We have a banger of a match today between the Mousketeers and Valhalla. I'm going to be bringing you the action. My name is Solar Pancake, and I'm going to be joined in the booth today by Toast. Toast, how are we doing today?
Doing wonderful. I'm incredibly excited for this match coming up. These are two very strong teams, and I'm just ready to see the action already.
Yeah, we're ready to see the action. We're going to be in the Abyss Division today. That's going to be our highest level of play here in the Rainbow Open. So we're going to have some really good teams coming out. The Mousketeers even have a player that they claim is a prodigy in Distill. So it'll be exciting to see what they can bring to the table for sure.
Mousketeers also, important to note, they have an XOD player and all 500, top 100, flex support. So very loaded roster, and going to Nepal first, the flex support is an incredibly important position here when you look at what is usually played, which is that brawl style.
Yeah, looking at Nepal is where we're going to be going to on that first map, like you mentioned. Nepal really favors a lot of that brawl style. You especially run into Village, you can see some really funny compositions like a sim teleporter to point, really bunkering down, holding on that. Really, the only time that you'll really see dive, if I'm not mistaken, is if we go into Sanctum there. You have that pit, you want to make sure you're able to control that space a little bit more, dive onto the back line. That's holding back there, Anna's, that kind of sort. So it'd be really exciting to see what kind of styles we see come out from both of these teams here.
Yeah, personally, I would expect to be seeing a lot of Ramatra played right now. He's a hero with brawl style as it is meta right now. Beyond that, you might see a Monkey Rush come in potentially.
Monkey Rush would be really interesting. Maybe a little Banana Rush, throwing a little Reaper, Lucio. Should be a good time.
Get that Kiri Suzu in there.
It looks like we're just waiting on a little bit of a technical difficulty for one of the players. So we're just going to hang out for a second. But this tournament's just getting started. Obviously, this is week one that we're getting into this tournament. So a lot on the line going into this, really, with these Swiss style type tournaments, really just making sure you're asserting that dominance, putting yourself as the team to beat going into these things. How can they really find that value to make themselves that top tier team here, Toast?
Well, with the Swiss style, like you mentioned, every single game is incredibly important just because you're going to be going against harder and harder teams the more you win. So typically speaking, you want to be obviously winning, right? But you want to be winning as dominantly as you can, because at the end of the Swiss stage you are going to have a seeding issue, and that will come down to map differential, because you will have teams that have the same record, being something like 6-2 potentially. So that map differential makes a huge difference. So the faster you're able to win these matches, the better off you're going to be come seeding.
Yeah, come seeding. That's going to be what it's really all about. And I think we're about ready to jump into this. I think our player has reconnected, so it should just be just a moment more, and we'll be able to get into this banger of a match. It should be such a good one. I'm so excited. Ooh, time to get into some Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're all here for.
I'm getting shivers already, Mason. I'm going to tell you that right now.
All right. Here we go. And for many of you not familiar with me, I may be Solar Pancake, but I'm also Mason. So keep that in mind. You can say either. It works for me. Just want to make sure all the viewers are aware as we load into Nepal here, who is actually talking, who we're talking about here.
So it looks like the first map is going to be Shrine. This is one of the maps that you could potentially come out on a Monkey on and be relatively okay. When you're talking about potentially a Monkey, a Tracer, we see Echo come out every once in a while on this map. But in my opinion, I think the Brawl is still going to be the more dominant and stronger composition, just because of the point control you can have.
Yeah, Brawl with that point position, like you were talking about, point control, especially with a Ramatra, that can hold down so much pressure. You're able to have that shield, a little bit of poke damage coming through, whereas the Winston, you really have to really full commit onto it. And as we take a look at the teams coming out to the starting line, it looks like we're going to see kind of a battle of compositions here, with the side of Mousketeers running this Brawl style, and with the side of Valhalla running this more Tracer Sombra dive.
Now, point control is incredibly important here for Valhalla. Just running this sim and the Mei, you have to hold on to point here. You're going to be getting attacked from all sides. It will be difficult, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah, and I did misspeak. It looks like the Mousketeers are on the dive, and that Valhalla is on this brawl here, and we can see a little bit of poking coming through. Engage coming in from Chevron here. He's going to get poked down really low. He's going to have to find some help here. He's able to get that help. He's able to get out here, but the target focus really isn't here right now for Valhalla. They need to really find something, Mousketeers, and that's going to be it right there. Distill is going to fall. The Prodigy has fallen here, and just clean up from here. Gumi finding a pick on the out, but that's going to be the end of the push for Mousketeers.
The really difference there is there's an incredibly early pick onto the Sombra of Mousketeers, and Sombra is really what is opening up a lot of these dives, coming in with that hack, farming that EM. It's really important that you have this Sombra dive when you go for the engagement. And as we see here, Sombra's already set up to go on.
Yeah, they're looking for this Baptiste, and we're going to see if they're going to be able to execute on this. Here comes the hack. The dive comes in, but the lamp comes out. Phytox is going to stay there. Lamp is gone. Phytox is now incredibly vulnerable. Chevron, in the meantime, falls, but Orpheus is going to find the Baptiste, and Gamer Ruler is going to get that pick onto Goombini. This is going back and forth here. This can go either way, but it looks like on the side here of Mousketeers, they're opting just to fall back and go in for another push here.
Mousketeers now we can see is starting to pivot over to the brawl composition, which is going to allow them to engage a little bit faster. If you watch back that last fight, it took a lot of time for them to get into a go in on the Baptiste, and then have the there. It's hard to do anything.
And here comes the Kitsune rush out here from the Mousketeers. They're looking for it. The Suffering is out from Hee Boink, and they're going to find the Sombra immediately before she can get the EMP off. And that's the big win condition here for the Mousketeers, and they're not able to follow through. That Suffering is going to find so much value here right now, and Chevron's just out on an island alone. He's not able to do anything.
It's a really good idea from the engage from Mousketeers. When you pop that Kitsune rush, you look for a pulse bomb. Unfortunately, they just weren't able to get anything with it. Hee Boink pops his Annihilation, and they just down.
Yeah, they just get shut down. This is going to all be on Distill here. Can the Prodigy find the EMP that the Mousketeers need to break this point open? We also see Orpheus going over to the Cassidy. Let's see if he can sing some sweet tunes with that Peacemaker. And now the Blizzard comes in. EMP, I don't know. It got 3, but the Blizzard and the wall still comes out. That might be a miscue here from Mousketeers, and they're all falling. This is going to be point.
Yeah, really unfortunate there that they had a 4-to-1 ult disadvantage, because it was a really solid EMP and a really good nade follow-up from Goombini. The issue was that just the number of ultimates just did not match up between the two teams.
Yeah, ultimates really can change the tide of battle, and we're going to have to see if Mousketeers can come back into this, and it looks like for our next point, we're going to go to Village, and we did see the side of Valhalla playing this Symmetra before, and like we were talking about in the opening segment, we can definitely see a big bunker down here with the Mei and Sim onto the point. It's going to be really hard for Mousketeers to break in onto this point.
100%. Valhalla has shown already that they really favor this Sim-Mei brawl composition, and this is probably the best map in Nepal for that composition, so it should be really interesting to see how Mousketeers plays again.
And it looks like Mousketeers is going to opt into a mirror composition here, so it's really who can get on that point, who can establish control of it first. And it looks like Mousketeers are going to get the control on the point. Now, will they be able to hold it? That is the question. A good right click comes in onto the BAP, and the BAP falls. I don't even know how that happened. A nice icicle comes in, but Orpheus is going to even up the score here. And this is going to be a 4-on-4 fight. This is anybody's game right now. Both Nemesis forms have been exhausted, and this is just a matter of who can get onto the point, and Mousketeers are going to flip this first point here.
And we look, the Baptiste getting picked early there. It's usually a sign that the fight's going to end pretty quickly, but they do manage to stall it out a little bit before Mousketeers inevitably does end up losing that fight. Baptiste, the strongest character in this composition. Without him, the whole comp kind of crumbles apart.
The whole comp does crumble apart, and if we look at the ult charges between Goombini and Phytox, it is a massive disadvantage. Valhalla is going to have a window so much earlier than the side of the Mousketeers. They're going to opt to TP into the back of point here. Let's see if they can get a good wall. They isolate 2 members. Are they able to get any picks? Ice Block is going to come out here from Gamer Rule. and he's gonna fall. Distill, the prodigy coming through, and there's that window I was talking about, gonna come through a good lamp, and they're able to get the flip. Now, the longer they can hold this, the better this is gonna be for the side of Mousketeers. They have the man advantage. Wall is going to come out. Window finally falls, but this wall isn't gonna make a big difference, and they're throwing in beat as well. Mousketeers really want to make sure that they're gonna win this fight. They're gonna invest the suffering as well. So that's 2 big ultimates here, but they're gonna win it right out, Toast.
It is a heavy investment for Mousketeers, but when you look at the ultimate, they still have this Blizzard, this Sim Wall, and they're coming up on the window of their own. And they traded ultimate for ultimate there, where Valhalla uses both window and wall, and they're not really too close to another another Blizzard, right? So you're really looking at this Annihilation and this beat to get a really strong engagement here.
It looks like we're going to have a fight right up here on the top of the point. This is going to be quite a push here, and Valhalla is actually going to opt to drop down onto the point. Big wall comes in. Blizzard's going to come in as well. It's going to freeze the Annihilation on the wrong side of the wall, so that's going to falter. He's going to go back into that Omnic form, very vulnerable. And now Tamaki is just beaming down the side of the Mousketeers. The window's going to get put up to try to make sure that Chevron's able to stay alive, but his health keeps dropping lower and lower. And Gamer's going to throw out the Blizzard, and it's going to catch 3 members of Mousketeers, and they're all going to fall, and that's going to be the end of the push, and a nice flip for Valhalla.
That was an amazing Blizzard coming in there from this. I'm sorry, I'm somewhat over
Gamer.
From Gamer.
Gamer, yeah.
Because Orpheus had an amazing sim wall there that blocks off the Annihilation while they're having that Blizzard come in on your own team from Gamer is what won them that fight.
And they're going to engage here on the top. Here's another window from Phytox. The Immortality Field's going to go down, and My Wreath just evaporates. No time to do anything. Chevron can only hold his arms up in peace, trying to do anything to stay alive, and he just can't live. That sim from Tamaki is just beaming down the Ramatra before he can do anything.
The beam from Tamaki is just coming in so strong. We even have another sim wall coming up here. No real ultimates yet come for Mousketeers, coming close to the Annihilation and the beat. Once again, you want to look for those as engagement. Probably the Blizzard in the middle of the fight. But with this wall coming in now, it's going to be even harder for them to get anything.
It's going to be really hard for them to get anything going. The beat can be blocked, but it looks like he's able to get 3 people, but Chevron's unable to get it. Distill is going to fall, and there goes Goombini. My-Wreath is down. Orpheus is going to fall, and that, unfortunately, is going to be the map. Valhalla is going to take it. Mousketeers not able to hold on to that, and we're going to see a 1-0 lead from Valhalla.
A very strong start here from Valhalla. You can see that they have clearly practiced this Sim May Ram Brawl comp, and Nepal is a very strong map for that composition. When you have Tamaki coming in with all this damage on the Sim, you have good Blizzards coming in from Gamer, it's really hard to win this if you are Mousketeers.
Yeah, there's just a lot going in. You're at ult disadvantages. There's just so much to think about, so much to make sure that you're being aware of. But I mean, really, if we're looking at this and we look at this first map, Toast, what can Mousketeers do to really get the footing back to even and even up this series?
In my opinion, they need to be playing more aggressively. They're spending a lot of time kind of just letting Valhalla do whatever they want, and I think we saw that perfectly when they were trying to play that Tracer Sombra dive comp. You have Sombra set up really well for a dive on the Baptiste, but you just take too long to be able to go in on that, and by the time you do, Valhalla has already gotten plenty of poke damage in, and they're getting closer and closer to those ultimates, playing a point control composition.
Yeah, that point control is going to be huge. Going into our next map type, which is going to be hybrid. We're not sure which map we're going to next, but that does maybe change things up a little bit. Really, first point, you're looking very similar capture point, right? That point control is going to be really big. Excuse me for stumbling over my words there. So these brawl compositions are going to be good, but depending on which one we go to, we may see some swaps to dive compositions either on Eichenwald or Midtown if we go there.
Of course, the options being, of course, for the hybrid maps, we have Midtown, Eichenwald, and Blizzard World. Personally, if I'm Mousketeers, clearly I've shown that I want to play that dive composition. I would take them to Blizzard World. It's a lot harder to play the brawl there, and especially on second point, you get a really wide area for you to play a really strong dive composition.
Yeah, and it looks like it is indeed going to be Blizzard World that we're going to. Um, Love to see it. So like you were talking about, Blizzard World, definitely a map that makes it a little bit harder to just run that sim brawl composition that we saw Valhalla run the entirety of Nepal. And so we did see Chevron come out with this Monkey Tracer Sombra kind of dive. Do we think we will see that again coming out from Mousketeers?
I think most likely if you're picking Blizzard World, you're going for that Somber Tracer kind of composition. You might end up seeing something like an Ashe or a Hanzo mixed in there as well. Maybe a Diva instead of the Winston, but if you're picking Blizzard World, you're going there because of the dive.
Yeah, going there because of the dive, and we'll see what we can do there. As we get ready to go into Blizzard World here, just a few fun facts about our team. We had the winning team Valhalla. Here's just some fun facts. Tamaki, our sim player, eats air for breakfast. I don't know how one sustains off of that, but apparently their sim play is not affected. So that's really all that matters on this side of Valhalla there. Gamer Rule apparently is him. Is him? Yep, he's him.
Yeah, Pytox maybe has a bit of a more balanced meal because allegedly he eats steak 6 meals a day. So one would assume that includes breakfast. I don't know what the other, 3 meals that are bonus would be, but interesting little fact there.
Hey, I mean, throw in a nice little steak snack. I mean, just steak all day. I can get behind it. I'm a big steak guy. I like steak. And then on the topic of eating more food, we've got It's AZ, our support player here for Valhalla. They eat pulse bombs for breakfast. Not the best thing to eat if you're a support player, but I mean that's just me. I mean, I don't know.
You eat plenty of pulse bombs, I can tell you that.
I definitely do. I definitely do. That and my aversion to corners it cost me a couple of lives there for sure.
Couple lives, couple maps. It definitely
couple
happens. Valhalla staying true to their name, really focused on food with their fun facts.
Hey, I mean, if that's what you're gonna do for eternity in the afterlife, I'm about it, making sure you get the right meals that you want. I personally would stay away from eating that much steak or just air or even pulse bombs for that matter. I definitely might go tacos or something, but I don't know. I'm just an old boomer here.
I think out of the 3, I would probably have the steak just because air seems like if you have too much of it that you're eating, it could be a little bit negative for your overall health. But maybe that's just me.
Hey, that's understandable. I can get with you there, but it looks like we are loading into Blizzard World, and it will be exciting to see what compositions our teams are going to run out on here. All right. Taking a look, we're just going around the scenic view of what I one day hope comes into fruition. Blizzard World, a theme park of all Blizzard, IPs. And let me tell you, this would be a fun place to play around. But right now, the focus is on battle and what these teams can do to win.
100%. And as we go into Hero Select here, we're likely going to see a dive come out. You might see a Diva, and it looks like we are going to have an almost mirror match. The difference being Tamaki is going to opt into that Hanzo Sombra here.
Yeah, going into that Hanzo versus that Sombra. Do you think this might be a case of that Valhalla is starting off on the defense here? They want a little bit of that ranged poke coming in, or kind of what's the thought process here on the Sombra versus the Hanzo here, Toast?
I think Hanzo is a strong pick in this composition regardless, but I think defense especially, you have some really long sight lines here on Blizzard World in pretty much every point. So Hanzo's able to play safe throughout the entire map and just get poke damage in and in and in. And instead of the Sombra opening up fights, you're going to see...
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
All right, we're loading right into the map here. We'll see what's happening. Defense getting set up here on the high ground, and we see Distill getting ready to find a target for them to execute this dive onto. Gonna set up a translocator, and now just the setup for the dive here for the side of the Mousketeers. Can they get an early pick? It looks like everybody is on there. Point is gonna be ticked up a little bit just to divert attention away, and the dive's gonna come in as they back up for that. The brig is falling a little low, and Distill's gonna have to translocate out. In the meantime, on the point here, we've got Chevron trying to look for an opening, and this dive setup is just taking a little bit too long with the Sombra here.
They do a really good job forcing Valhalla off the high ground, but then they overcommit resources trying to take the high ground that they already have.
In the meantime, though, Mousketeers are going to get a tick onto the point, and while there's a fight happening on the back line here for Valhalla, Gamer trying to get that pick, but in the meantime, Phytox is going to take out Chevron. I'm not sure how that happened. As a tank player, getting taken out by any support is never a good day, but Orpheus is going to claim one as his own, but Tamaki's going to even it up, and they found the translocator here of Distill, and we'll see if he's able to get out, but a really good hold here from the side of Valhalla, giving up a little bit of point presence, but allowing them not to fully cap.
Now, what I believe happened there is I think Hee Boink was just on top of Myrith and Goombini, which denied the healing towards Chevron, and that's how he died. That pressure on the supports in this dive versus dive mirror is so important, because as you know, as a tank player, if you're not getting healed, you're not going to last very long.
No, you're not going to last very long at all, and that shows Chevron only at 40% to a Primal Rage. Hee Boink already at that 83% here. Everything else is about even across the board, outside of our Briggs, with Myrith having a little bit of an advantage here. But now Valhalla going to execute onto the back line here. In the meantime, Distill gets taken out. Chevron's going to find Tamaki, and this is just a trade back and forth. Which team can find the value? Hee Boink's going to try to get out, has to pop the Primal so he doesn't die to that Pulse Bomb. I think he would have been safe, but that's all right. Sleep going to come through Hee Boink, but he gets woken up by the Tracer. Oh, you never want to wake up the waking monkey, but now he's on a rampage back into the back line here. Hee Boink trying to make sure his supports can stay alive. Chevron gets antied. Can he get out? I don't think he can. Hee Boink's going to find the pick. Orpheus is going to find one, but Tamaki comes back, hits it. Oh, no, the rally is committed. Mousketeers think this is winnable. Dragon's going to come out. It's going to cut Myrith right in its path and force them over to that left-hand side, and that rally may have been a mistake here. As this fight continues, Sleep falls, and that is going to be a good hold here from Valhalla.
That's a brutal overcommitment coming in from Myrith there. You think it's winnable, but you're already down your Winston. You can stall it out maybe, but coming that close to support ults, you really want those coming into this next fight. As we see, we're coming up on the EMP finally here. It's been a while, but Distill's been dying early every once in a while, so we want to see an EMP engagement here, ideally. Maybe a Nano Monkey.
Yeah, Nano Monkey or EMP engage, that's what we're going to look for. Hee Boink's going to just create a little bit of space, a little bit of zoning pressure, and here comes the commit. EMP goes through, but it looks like Chevron missed that jump a little bit. It was a good EMP. Rally's going to come out to keep everybody alive. Gamer Rule just looking for any pick right now. Still a Nano on the side of Mousketeers. We'll see if that comes out here if they want to commit to this. Distill has to get out, so now it's just a 4v4. There's the Nano going onto Chevron, but Goombini falls in the meantime, and the backline's just falling apart. There is no healing. Distill falls. It's just a Nano Monkey on point. He has Primal, but he does not need to commit this and just needs to get out.
Yeah, Mousketeers not doing a great job of taking the space that they need to actually set up the dive. You see Chevron going in, but the supports are just stuck there, and they're just free pickings for Hee Boink and Gamer right now.
And what a brutal stagger. Gamer getting Chevron with that Pulse Bomb ensures that they aren't going to have a full fight for this contest here. I don't even think anybody can touch. And that's going to be 61.5% going over to the side of Mousketeers. And now they have the daunting task of finding a way to hold out Valhalla from capturing even just 0.1% more.
Now, it's not impossible. Obviously, we have seen Distill is opting towards the Sombra. Didn't get a lot of value on the attack, but defensively, Sombra can be really strong. You have a safe translocator spot. You can go in, farm that EMP, help your Winston go in with these engagements and finish off these kills. So there's still a possibility here that Mousketeers could win this.
Yeah, this is definitely winnable if you're on the side of Mousketeers. And the real question is, do you want to try to go for this counter dive, or are you going to opt for more of that brawl style? We'll see here. Initially, it looks like we're going to be seeing a Tracer, Hanzo, and Brig, so I'm leaning towards more of this dive defense here from the side of Mousketeers.
We could maybe see a swap to a Diva here. Chevron's taking a little bit long in hero swap, and he is going to connect to the Monkey anyway. But importantly, we do see Distill is going to be mirroring the Hanzo, so it's going to be a big Hanzo battle here. This is what's going to be really important to watch this point.
Yeah, who can find those picks? Who can hit those logs from any angle? That is really the question. Now, if you're looking at it from the side of Mousketeers, you don't have to wait for this Sombra setup here. You can kind of initiate a little bit more if you're Chevron, and maybe that's what the key is to finding success here on Blizzard World. But we're going to move into the map and see exactly what Mousketeers are wanting to do here.
Taking the bottom left here is the Winston, so I'm assuming they're going to be trying to dive onto that initial high ground. Distill has to be really careful here not to get picked early. He's in a very dangerous spot. His supports aren't anywhere near him.
Yeah, Briggs not going to be able to get those packs from them, but Chevron right now is just walking through, kind of playing a little bit of a bouncer. He sees he blink up on the high ground. They're just kind of tickling each other, just a little, a little tickle fingers.
As monkeys do.
As monkeys do, right? Good hit comes out here from the Ana, but Distill's going to be just chilling. He Boink's going to engage, not really doing anything, just taking some space, getting stuff set up. Sounds like the Tracer is poking a little bit from the back, but this is just kind of a feel-out process. Now, Valhalla can take a little bit of time here and look for the correct opening here, but Distill is going to shut that down right away. Myreath going to find Boink, and that's going to be a quick reset for Valhalla.
It's a good opening. It's just coming in from Mousketeers instead of Valhalla. Watch Valhalla play. They're just not same as Mousketeers in their attack. They're not taking enough space to actually open up this dive. We have Gamer kind of just on their own.
Yeah, Gamers on their own. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of coordination going in on these dives. And right now, really ults are kind of even across the board. Chevron's going to play bouncer. He needs to get out and make sure he gets in line of sight. He's going to do that. And now this is up. Can Valhalla really sink in and work together here? Chevron going to be going in, getting some poke, jumping back. Not a whole lot going on for commits yet.
Both teams just looking to farm the nano right there. Oh, big opening pick from Orpheus on that pulse bomb.
Oh, that is a gigantic pick, and that is going to be the attack here from Valhalla, falling short again. A fantastic pulse bomb coming out from Orpheus, singing that beautiful, beautiful music, trying to find Eurydice. That's all we need to hear from Orpheus. And if they can keep doing this, I think that Mousketeers can do this, Toast.
I honestly wholeheartedly agree with that. They only invest the pulse bomb that fight, and they're already 40 to another one. You're coming up on the rally, you have the dragons, you have the nano. And a lot of those ultimates are mirrored from Valhalla, but on the defense side, you inherently have an advantage just because of the space that you control.
Yeah, you have all that space. This is going to come down to which nano is going to be better. And here's the nano onto Chevron jumping in, and that's going to be easy kills onto the Brig and the Hanzo, and FY Tox is going to go down as well. Mousketeers making sure it is well known that this is their Blizzard world. Nobody's getting past them today.
Mousketeers looking like an entirely different team on this defense. Their dives are so coordinated. Orpheus and Chevron are absolutely tearing apart their attackers. And importantly, again, only the nano boost invested that time. So you're coming up on a lot of ultimates for Valhalla, but you still have a large ultimate bank on the defensive side.
I think we may be entering into a Q-Fest here, Toast. Dragon is going to come out early from Distill. Not going to find a whole lot of value there, and Tamaki is in a dangerous position. Chevron looking for him, but there goes Distill. That's a great pick here for the opening of Valhalla. Nano's going to come out onto Boink, and that is how Distill falls. Chevron going to have to pop that monkey ult there, making sure he's staying alive. Orpheus is going to find FY Tox, though, and even it up. And in the meantime, Chevron is forcing out Tamaki. Tamaki not able to find any value at all. And now almost all the ults have been used. There's the rally from Valhalla. Boink is going to find Goombini, but Myreath takes out the rally. Tamaki's going to find Chevron. Tamaki is carrying, but Distill is coming back. Out of nowhere, Distill hits a log. Boink is going to fall. There's only 16 seconds left, Toast.
How do Mousketeers win that? I mean, Orpheus and Distill both coming in and clutching that fight. Absolutely insane. And again, look at the ultimates. There's nothing on either team. You're getting closer on the side of Mousketeers. Distill absolutely destroying anyone trying to touch right now. He's just taking over this game.
Distill has determined that this is the moment, purifying what was that last match. It is off the record. This is gonna be a 1-1. Distill taking matters into his own hand as people keep trickling onto this point. Nothing is really gonna matter unless a miracle happens here. Itza is gonna fall. I'm not sure if there's another toucher, and that's gonna be it. What an amazing map here we see on Blizzard World, and an amazing comeback from the Mousketeers.
Absolutely insane comeback coming off the hands mainly of Distill and Orpheus. Those two were able to get so much done and were able to clutch up that incredibly important fight. Without them, I don't know what you do here. I think the Hanzo swap was huge. You're getting a lot of opening picks. I don't quite know how Tamaki lived that last fight, but it didn't end up mattering because Distill got back. He ended up getting about...
Yeah, Distill gets back. He finds the picks that were needed, and that in turn is what wins it for Mousketeers. And we're doing a few fun facts. Let's give you a quick fun fact here. Goombini, the Ana for Mousketeers. This is their first esports team ever. First time in the scene, and man, They are playing super, super well.
They have had some insane nades. I don't have the healing numbers in front of me, but Chevron was living through so much, an insane amount of healing getting pumped into him. Really impressive job from someone who's on their first team.
Yeah, first team ever. Team is going crazy. You've got the Prodigy and Distill who came back and did everything good. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we get back, we're going to jump right back into our next map, so don't miss out on anything because this is going to be a banger of a match. All right, welcome back. Thank you for bearing with us through that break. That was a banger of a match. I needed some water, needed to air out a little bit. But now we're going to go into Shambali Monastery. And this could be really interesting for a couple of reasons. This is one of the maps where you could see a close hold coming out on the defense here.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when you have Mousketeers here on the defense, Valhalla picking the map, so they don't get the choice on side. The question really is, do Mousketeers just take the long sightline with Orpheus feeling it right now? I'd have to imagine they mirror the Hanzo. On Shambali, you play Ram Brawl, usually with a Hanzo Mei. So do you just let Orpheus cook, or are you going to do the more traditional thing and close hold here?
Are we going to let him cook? And out of the gates, it looks like they are. They're wanting Distill to follow up on what he did on that last map, hit those heads, distill the enemies down to nothing. This should be great. We're going to run into, they are going to go up against that brawl, though, that we were talking about with that Ram, the Mei, the Hanzo here. And so really a clash of styles. So what do the side of Valhalla need to do to break through this kind of dive setup that we see coming here from Mousketeers?
Valhalla absolutely needs to take control of that high ground that we see Distill sitting on right now. If you don't, you're just going to get picked down from a bunch of different angles, and this dive is going to tear you completely apart.
So we're going to see what they do when they realize that they're going up against this dive, and it looks like they're opting to ignore the cart, and they're going to go around this left-hand side and forcefully take that high ground. I really like this play here from the side of Valhalla.
A nice little hide there from Orpheus. They could go in for an engagement here, but they're going to give a bit more time. Still, though, they are completely surrounded on the side of Valhalla, as we see Chevron backing up a little bit there. Now Valhalla has the complete control of the high ground, but they don't have cart presence yet.
Yeah, there's nobody on cart. They may have taken the space, but the cart is still at the starting point. So now it's going to slowly start moving, and this is going to be the key for Mousketeers to come in. We're going to see the jump in from Chevron and coming in with Orpheus. Orpheus in the back line. Look for that Gamer with a nasty headshot there. Might shut down this initial...
Still opening it right back up.
Goodness.
Still absolutely evening the odds and more, taking out the Mei and then going on to the Baptiste. This is what you want to see out of your hitscan player right now.
Yeah, Prodigy coming through, just like they called him. Youngest player on the team, by the way. A Prodigy is what the team is calling him. And right now, I can see exactly why he has a dragon, Toast. Distill has a dragon, and Gamer is sitting at 41%. Just so much work being done by the side here of Mousketeers, and we'll see if it continues. The fight is going to take place on point now. The Ram and the Mei are trying to focus out Chevron, but he's going to get out pretty easily. I'm excited to see this dragon. Here it comes. Oh, that's going to be right into Maki and splits the team. That's going to be rough here for the side of Valhalla. Wall going to come out, not going to find any value. Gets taken down immediately, and now Hee Hee Boink is going to probably look for this suffering here as they get a pick onto Distill, and that is going to be a backup. There's the suffering. Ooh. And a nice sleep from Goombini, shutting down that entire ultimate there.
Now, it's important to note they invested the Annihilation, but they lost their Lucio in the very beginning of that fight, so you don't have the ability to close that distance as effectively as you normally do.
Yeah, and they're going to re-engage with Chevron even though they're down Distill right now. He has Primal. He wants to make sure that this cart is not going to get around this corner. Holding this space is going to be so huge. He's going to go back in and find is going to find Orpheus. That is not what you want to see on the defense, and they're shuddering. Maybe jumping back in when they're a man down here was not the play here, Toast.
Maybe not, but still getting some exit frags here. You should be able to get another fight in on the defense. Maybe not with Goombini getting down that low. I think Chevron might have overcommitted a little bit with that nano. You can use it to stall for some time, but your supports aren't in a position to help you if you go in too deep.
Supports aren't in a position, and that's going to be the first point cap, and we're going to see Mousketeers come out. They're abandoning this Winston, and they're actually going to go to the Ram Brawl themselves, but instead of the Mei, they're opting into the Sojourn here, so not a whole lot of zoning going on, but a lot more pick potential.
100% more pick potential, and I think that's what you have to do on the side of Mousketeers right now. You're sticking on this more divey support line because of that rally that you have, and you're going into a really strong ultimate in Blizzard, which they use right now, combining with the Blizzard, or with the rally on the side of Mousketeers. Dragon comes in here from Gamer. It gets very little value, though.
And the beat's going to come out. Valhalla really want to make sure that this is taken care of, and they're able to continue on this push right now, and it looks like they're going to keep doing that. Phytox is going to find Distill. He's not going to be able to find any logs right now, and right now, they're just going to set up for another push.
Really heavy ultimate commitment coming in from Valhalla. They're using the Blizzard, using the Dragons, and using the beat, only getting the rally in return. It's a bit of an overcommitment, but if you win the fight, that's what matters.
That's what's going to matter. He Boink is just going to play bouncer at the door. He's suffering to sustain himself once this Nemesis form runs out, but it doesn't matter. The side of Mousketeers just doesn't touch the point. And now they're down 2 members, and exit frags may be coming out as well. This is disastrous for the side, but Orpheus does find Phytox.
Yeah, a bit of a Charlie Niner there coming in, but on the plus side for Mousketeers, they got window out from the Baptiste. So you're only looking at probably a Dragon coming up this fight and the Annihilation from Hee Boink. And you have both of your DPS ults from Distill and Orpheus, and you're coming up on that Nano and the Suffering from Chevron and Goombini.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see what plays out. Can the DPS ults find value? There's the Dragon. It's going to split. Hee Boink is antied and separated from his supports. He does have the Nemesis for him, but it is going to heal him back up. Lamp gets put out. Nano's going to get put onto Chevron to keep him alive, but he's going to fall before he can get that Nemesis form. Orpheus is going to take it into his own hands now, try to make sure he finds one. Can he find another? Gets headshot, has to back off. Nope, Dragon's gonna come through, forced him out, very low. Supports are keeping him up, but in the meantime, Goombini and Distill fall, and Mousketeers are just all over the place on this defense.
Oh, really good clutch up. Ultimately, what happens is Goombini gets the Nano to stay alive, but he's still split from his supports. He isn't able to be healed enough that he needs. And when you lose your Ramatra here, it's really hard to win the fight.
Really hard to win the fight, and a great boob coming out from It's AZ to make sure that the Ramatra can't touch Blizzard, to make sure anybody that was there gets frozen. And that is a sizable time bank, 2.5 minutes for them. So now, on the side of Valhalla, if you finish the map, if you don't get above that 2 minutes and 35 seconds, you are going to have a much less time bank, and it's going to make it that much harder. And on overtime pushes, Toast, I know from experience, when someone has a sizable time bank on the opposite team like that, it's really hard to stay mentally focused and make sure that you're on top of things.
100%. I think ultimately what that last round came down to was just Mousketeers wouldn't fully commit to the brawl. They still tried to play that one-shot DPS line, and they kept that dive support line, and ultimately Chevron was just melted down. As we see here, they look to be staying on a more dive style, which is going to be tough to play into here.
It's going to be really tough, but Distill is looking to go towards that Pharah. Chevron going towards the Diva. Mywreath on that Mercy. So we're going to be looking at a very heavily pocketed Distill here. Orpheus is going to look for those picks, but it's really going to be up to Distill. How much can he distract the team of Valhalla into focusing him rather than ignoring everybody else on the ground?
We do see a swap to the Diva here from Chevron, which I think is a bit stronger. You're able to get some better peel coming in. But again, it's going to be really tough to get any real engagement coming in. You really have to focus in on Distill getting an opening pick.
Yeah, Distill really has to find these picks, really has to start putting pressure, but he's already getting beamed down by the projectiles, and the Hanzo finds the pick onto the Widow and the Pharah. Oh my goodness, Gamer Rules is literally ruling this lobby, and Mywreath is just in such an unfortunate position and just falls immediately. I don't know if this Pharah composition is going to work out. These projectile players are on another level right now.
Gamer Rule saw what Distill did last map and said, I can do you one better. Absolutely taking over that fight. And we see Mousketeers are going to be sticking to this Pharah comp right now.
Yeah, sticking with it. This Widow going very, very sneaky. Very, very crouchy on the side. Can they find a pick? Orpheus looking, nothing there yet. The team from Valhalla really playing their sightlines here, which is also making it very hard for Distill to poke out and find these picks. He is going to force Tamaki into that ice block, so that Mei is now going to be vulnerable. Can they find the pick? And this pressure seems to be working, and they are making Valhalla back up, but it's not amounting to a lot of picks. They're just going to be able to regroup behind this wall and then take a fight from there.
Now, this part of first point is much better for the Pharah. You have a lot more buildings to play around. for cover, it's going to be much harder here for Valhalla to get an opening pick on this far. Unless, of course, she goes into a building, it's a little bit easier to hit your shot in that setting.
It's a little bit easier. The res is going to come through, so Distill not quite out of the fight just yet. Myreath making sure that they have another chance here. I would definitely avoid that building, but in the meantime, Tamaki is just going to hit a nasty right click to take Distill out of the sky again, and there's no res to bring him back. And now...
Importantly, Mousketeers have a heavy ultimate disadvantage. Valhalla coming up on almost everything here. They only use the window this fight. The Dragon Blizzard Annihilation, they'll probably get beat up by the end of this next fight. What are you going to do here if you're Mousketeers?
If you're on the side of Mousketeers, you only have support ultimates. You have the, you have the Widow Sightline, so you're going to know where people are with this ultimate here, but the Mercy Valk, a little bit more healing, that's not going to prevent these Hanzo logs from doing any damage. The Nano might be able to keep somebody up, but like you were saying, there's just so many ultimates on the side of Valhalla. There's not a whole lot that can be done if you're on the side of Mousketeers, unless you're Orpheus, and he just takes the head off of the Lucio. And now the Blizzard's going to come out. The Diva's frozen. Can they live? They are going to live. Nano's going to come out onto the Diva. Make sure they live a little bit longer. They really need to find some value here. There's only 1 minute left on the clock, but Hee Boink going to get a pick. Gamer Rule's going to go down. The Widow's in the back line. I don't know why she was there.
How did Orpheus even end up there? That was insane. Once again, though, I would like to add, Mousketeers is opting back into this double sniper type of composition instead of fully committing to either a dive or a brawl comp.
Yeah, they seem very indecisive, and they're staggering Chevron out. Oh, this is the saddest moment as a tank player when you're playing Diva. You can't go anywhere. You're just a little baby, just a baby, and it's sad.
Especially with under a minute left. That's going to force this into final fight territory here. You are coming up on some ultimates here if you are Mousketeers. You have Chevron's self-destruct. You're coming up on a Dragon from Distill. Not too much besides the support ults for Valhalla to counter that. You want to open with this Dragon and see if you can split them up and easily get a kill.
All right, the fight is going to take place here. This is do or die here for the Mousketeers. Orpheus has that railgun shot charged up. We'll see what happens. Dragon's going to come through. Gamer Rule's going to find Distill. He can't get the Dragon out. That's the last thing you want to happen. Chevron's going to die even though the bomb comes out. And now this is just cleanup for Valhalla. There's no tank. There's no Hanzo. Dragon's going to come from spawn, but I think it might be a little too late. Myreath is just skating all over the point, trying to stay alive. The Dragon's late, and who's even there to continue touching? I think that's it, and what a dominant defense here from Valhalla to take it up 2-1.
And the support's trying their best to stall there, but all for naught ultimately. Gamer Rule just dominant on that defensive side, as we see he has play of the game here now, just absolutely shutting down Mousketeers, and Distill, who was on a hot streak right now, amazing shot there, but getting that pick on Distill before he's able to use the Dragon absolutely just won that fight for them.
Oh my goodness, what a play. This is such a back and forth match. Map 1 went the way of Valhalla pretty convincingly. Map 2 was a little bit closer, but Mousketeers eke it out, and now Valhalla is like, that's a fluke. We can't let this happen again. We're going to pound him into the ground right now, and that is exactly what that defense did. A full hold there on the side of Valhalla. And now the question is, as we look to go into our next maps here, which is going to be Push, everybody's favorite game mode. There's only 3 options here. If you're on the side of Mousketeers Toast, where do you go between Coliseo, Esperanza, and New Queen Street?
I think you have to go to Esperanza. Valhalla has shown that they are the better brawl team right now, whether that's just because they have more practice on it or they're just feeling hot. They have been dominating you in the mirror. You have to go to where you're more comfortable, and that's in the brawl, and Esperanza is the map to do that.
Yeah, that is going to be the map to do that. I know that's why I don't like it as much, because my Winston probably not up to snuff like Chevron's is. So if I'm on the side of Mousketeers, that's exactly where I want to go. I think you nailed it right there. And speaking of Chevron, as we wait to get into our map picks here, he is a father of one beautiful cat. And I can relate to that, as I also only have a fur baby, one little cat. So, I mean, some camaraderie there, tank players, father of cats. So I might be a little biased towards Chevron now.
Maybe a little bit. I can't personally relate. Main support player with 2 dogs, not quite the same thing. Almost related. Main supports, main tanks, you know, two fruits of the same vine, but
Yeah, yeah. And it looks like, actually, Toast, we're going to be going to Colosseo. Probably one of the most brawly push maps that there is out of the three.
definitely, I think you still can play a Winston-based composition here, but it's definitely weaker than playing a Ramatra on this point.
Yeah, definitely a little bit weaker on the Ramatra. And really the question is, when we look between the two compositions, Mousketeers and Valhalla, really the big difference is whether they're playing that Mei or not. And if we look at kind of how this match has gone, Valhalla running that Mei has looked increasingly and way better and more coordinated.
I would like to point out, Mousketeers, the only map they have played Mei on, even when they were mirroring the Brawl, was Nepal Village, and that was a relatively close map for a pretty one-sided map of Nepal. So I think if they actually fully opt into the Brawl here and play something like a Mei, they have a pretty good chance. Alternatively, you could go into even more Death Ball style and just bust out something like a Reaper and see if that'll do it for you.
Yeah, it will be very interesting, and it looks like we actually have a substitution coming in on the side of Mousketeers. It looks like Goombini, the first-time esports player, is going to the bench for this map, and we're going to bring in Unchanged. Now, Unchanged, here is the very interesting thing. They are an EU player on an NA team. So, ping could become a very big factor. And it looks like he's coming in on the support position. What do you think this mindset could be here, Toast?
It could be just a hero preference. Goombini has shown that they are pretty much the Ana player on this team on the past few maps. Maybe you're more comfortable with Unchanged coming in for something like a Baptiste or a Kiriko.
Yeah, Baptiste and Kiriko, and we'll see if that EU ping is going to be any sort of hindrance on them or not. But it'll be very exciting to see what they come out with here. Speaking about any other players on this team, just like we were talking about fun facts before we get into the map here, Mywreath, actually a collegiate player as well as being on this team. They're a collegiate player from Murray State Esports, which is fantastic. We need more representation in the collegiate scene, so that's awesome on Mywreath for sure.
See, that's something that I can relate to. Mywreath, a main support player as well, also a collegiate player. I play for Hofstra University out in Long Island. So you have a connection with Chevron, I have a connection with Mywreath. Works out perfectly.
There you go. So maybe a little bias for both of us onto the side of Mousketeers, and I think everybody just wants this game to be a banger and go to that map 5.
Now, are Mousketeers going to be able to bring it to that map 5? It is their map pick, so they might have something cooked up between a map choice that I personally was not expecting and a substitution of Unchanged, and maybe they have something cooked up already.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they're cooking up, and we'll see if the side of Valhalla wants to eat it, as most of their fun facts are about food. We'll have to see if they eat it or if they spit it out, spit it right back, send it back to the kitchen. Who knows what's going to happen, but immediately looking at the compositions here, Unchanged going to be on that Ana, so maybe just a little bit more veteran presence offside of Goombini. But like we were thinking, Valhalla going to come out on this Mei Ram Brawl here.
Yeah, and I have to say, this is a stronger map for the Brawl. Again, you can play the dive, but you're really hoping Distill's getting these opening picks for you, and you're hoping Mywreath is able to get good enough peel to stop a full-on Brawl running at you, which is hard to do.
It is very hard to do, and we're going to see teams just kind of buying for position a little bit while this bot waits to unlock. He's not really ready to wake up yet, as most of us are in the morning, so we just kind of have to wait and see which team gets a pick, and there it is! Distill is going to get that first pick, and that's the initiation tool. Mywreath sending in that speed boost in there. Chevron looking for any cleanup, and now this is such a great advantage here for the Mousketeers, really wanting to put the pedal to the metal, and that's exactly what they're doing. Looking for these picks, and this is just a stall out. Great stall out here from the side of Valhalla, and a great ante coming in. Lamp is going to go down. Orpheus finding that little tool there, but Tamaki going to find Orpheus, so now the fight's even. Tamaki finds Distill. Tamaki taking matters into their own hand. The beam heroes are theirs, and unfortunately, Mousketeers, what looked like a strong opening, falls apart.
So well played from Valhalla there. Mousketeers, like you said, had an amazing opening. Distill gets an opening pick, and immediately you see Mywreath come in with the amp speed in. They're just not able to get much done, even with Unchanged hitting a nasty anti-nade there. Valhalla is just able to weather the storm, and now you have Tamaki getting closer and closer to this blizzard. Distill close to the dragons, but Blizzard usually a stronger ultimate.
Yeah, Blizzard usually is stronger ultimate here, and there's a good anti-nade coming in from Unchanged, but he's gonna get focused out. He got left all alone at the backside of spawn there, and there's nothing that his team can do about it. And now Valhalla have free reign over this point, and it looks like the side of Mousketeers are a little bit split. Window's even gonna come out. I don't know if it was needed, but the side of Valhalla is gonna clean that up nice and easy, and they're probably going to get the checkpoint here, Toast.
Oh, definitely. I think maybe a miscommunication with the window there, considering they already had a big advantage. But still, only using the window is not bad at all. You have the Blizzard coming up on Annihilation and Beat. Mousketeers have ultimates, but again, you're playing into such a tough brawl composition. You don't even have your nano boost up yet.
You don't have a nano boost, you don't have a sound barrier, and this and the Suffering's gonna come out. Suffering's gonna find Chevron so early. The Dragon from Distill's not gonna find anyone. Gamer's gonna get somebody. He boinks at 19 HP. He's gonna take the duel, but Gamer's gonna come help him out, and he's gonna live. And right now, Mousketeers don't have an answer to what to do against this brawl.
And Valhalla still holding on to Blizzard. Tamaki has not used it yet. Gamer Rule coming up on another Dragon here. Beat coming in for it's AZ potentially as well. Coming in with a Primal Rage here from Chevron. Met with the Blizzard though.
Met with the Blizzard. Chevron going to find Phytox, but Gamer is out here just taking names. He really didn't like that Distill had that performance on Blizzard World. Really wants to show it up. Finds another one onto the Lucio. This man cannot be stopped right now.
I mean, he is feeling himself right now, and when you're going up against Distill on this Hanzo, you have to be confident. He has shown that he's a very strong player, but Gamer Rule, ever since taking this Hanzo over for Valhalla, has been showing that he can match it and more.
He can match it and more, and they are only a few meters away from this final checkpoint. Mousketeers have to make something happen. They have the ult advantage right now. Pulse Bomb comes out from the side of... Oh my goodness, from Mousketeers, but Orpheus recalls into death, right into the loving hands of Gamer, and now Unchanged getting taken out. Distill's gonna find Phytox, but it may not be enough to hold back the aggression that is Valhalla. Myrith is gonna get caught in the side. Chevron's going to find one. Distill's gonna find one, and maybe Mousketeers finding a little breath of life as I say that. He boink finding one. Gamer finding another. Gamer going absolutely sicko mode right now, and it's just a Tracer to touch the point. He's gonna take a Gamer, and it's left a he boink, and Mousketeers going to be able to reset, refresh, and maybe make this map interesting. But right now they've only pushed 0.05 meters, so it's not even a meter.
Really dangerous fight from Mousketeers there. They're lucky that they have such an incredible respawn advantage there, because Valhalla was doing a really good job winning that fight. They just couldn't keep up. And people like Orpheus are going to still be getting picks in there. Now, right here, you're going to an incredibly brawly part of the map. This is entirely dependent on Distill's Dragon.
The Dragon has to be huge. They're going up against two huge ultimates. Here comes the Dragon. He knows where they're all at. What a great boop. Lamp is going to come out and save people, and that is going to be a saving factor. Window and Suffering come out. Still can't climb. He Boink is going to find Myrith, and this is going to be a nice team wipe here from the side of Valhalla, and this bot is going to move extremely quickly for the side of Valhalla, and now Mousketeers need to reset, regroup, and be ready to defend once again.
So well played from the supports of both teams there. Phytox, especially with that Dragon and able to protect it as well. Myrith, though, it's important to note that boop, if the lamp had been destroyed, would have been insane.
Oh, it would have been absolutely massive. That boop was huge, and is still gonna find a pick on Phytox, and that is a lot of the healing going out, and you can see Valhalla do not want any part of this. They want to leave and regroup with as many members as they can, and now the question is, can Mousketeers get that pick? Gaming gets out with like 1 HP. He can't get finished by Chevron, and oh, that pick would have been huge for Mousketeers, but now they have to come into a 5v5 in this narrow corridor once again.
Yeah, and as we've mentioned, this corridor incredibly strong for the brawl, and if you're Valhalla, you have Tamaki's Blizzard here. Ooh, a really good opening pick from Distill, though, taking out the Lucio on behalf of Valhalla.
Yeah, Distill going out, taking out that Lucio. That's a great start, but they need a little bit more. The Ram is just living on point. He's got about 10 HP. He finally falls. Orpheus is going to find that pick. Unlike finding Eurydice, unfortunately, but the side of Mousketeers are finding their push here, and as I say that, there it is. They're finally getting some action here, and now the real question is, they have a daunting deficit here that they have to overcome. How can they do it, Toast?
Well, for starters, you have to keep letting Orpheus do what he wants. Right now, Orpheus is absolutely taking over, getting a lot of picks. You have ultimates here to let him get space and split them up. You have to be engaging quickly and early here.
They have to be extremely quick. Orpheus waiting for the call to know where they all are. It looks like all of Valhalla's up on that bridge, and Orpheus is starting to make their move. He Blank's going to take out Chevron, though, and that is a huge amount of presence gone for the Mousketeers. Myrith down as well, and this is not what you want to see if you're a Mousketeer fan.
Definitely not. Boink doing a lot that fight. As we see Phytox get Distill getting an exit frag, as I mentioned him. Distill getting both supports, actually. Valhalla might have to disengage here.
They can't push this bot very far. Boink is not going to last long. Ramatra does get that extra health, but it's not a whole lot if there's nobody to heal you back up. So on the side of Mousketeers, Distill making sure that they aren't going to lose out on this push, and they're going to get right back to pushing this bot.
Now, at an ult deficit, we need to see Mousketeers come in early. They have a continuing rush. They have a pulse bomb. Both of these things can be used to take a fight early. You're going up against 5 ultimates, and you can't let them do what they want like that.
They get 2 picks immediately, but the Dragon and the Blizzard come out. Distill gets 2! Boink is going to find Chevron, but Distill's on this high ground just doing whatever he wants. If he can hit a few more heads, Mousketeers may have a chance here, but it looks like he's not, and there he is. He's going to get taken out. If you're on the side of Mousketeers, though, those 2 DPS ults are huge coming out from the side of Valhalla, probably not needed. But now the ult advantage is a little bit less, and maybe Mousketeers can find an opening.
It is still dangerous. You need to be using this pulse bomb here. You charge it so quickly, and it's such a strong ultimate as well. But a good beat coming in to counter the annihilation there. It is met by its AZ, but Distill gets an opening pick anyway.
Distill gets an opening pick. Orpheus finally lands that pulse bomb. Phytox is gone. That is going to be the support down and a lot of healing. Window gone as well. The only ultimate left for Valhalla. And Boink is just sitting here punching at a monkey through the air. There's not much he can do, but they are stalling this cart out. Mousketeers need to finish up this fight quickly before that Baptiste can get back.
Yeah, and you need to kill this Lucio here. Its AZ is just absolutely living, and finally Boink goes down after getting separated. And that is a big stagger here. If you're Valhalla, you're not able to take this fight. Tamaki going down as well. Now, Distill might be coming up and getting another exit frag here.
Orpheus is going to find one instead, and now that push bot is probably going to make it to this checkpoint. And when it hits that checkpoint, that may be a good time to engage here from the side of Valhalla, as that cart is stationary, and Mousketeers are going to have to fend this off. They do have the Dragon. Distill is barely going to get out with his life. I thought he might be punched in the air there, but they're going to hold on. Dragon's going to come out from Distill, not going to find anything. Lamp doesn't even need to be used right now, and now this is up to which ultimates can get more value. Orpheus has another pulse bomb and needs to fight. There it is! Gamer Rules is going to fall. The Primal comes out. This is now the window coming out from Phytox. He's getting separated. Orpheus finds another pick, and Mousketeers, they're doing it. They're making this a map. They're coming back, Toast.
Tamaki getting a good exit frag. It could be turned here, actually, on the side of Valhalla. Tamaki doing a lot. Is it going to be enough to counteract what Distill and Orpheus are doing? It might just be.
Oh my goodness, the Blizzard's going to come out. They're going to secure it. And that's going to be overtime. Can anybody from the side of Mousketeers touch? I don't think they can. They're not going to push the bot. And Tamaki, with an amazing turnaround there when it looked like all hope was lost, turns it around for Valhalla, and they are going to take the series 3-1. What a close match, Toast.
That's absolutely brutal. Mousketeers were looking like they were going to get the lead at the end there, but Tamaki, as you said, absolutely turning that around, getting the Blizzard online, and really just sealing the fight for them.
Yeah, sealing the fight, and that was such a good map. I mean, match. We couldn't ask for a better week 1 thing to match to cast, Toast. I mean, it went back and forth. There were so many great moments from both sides. We love to see it, and now going forward through this tournament, Valhalla has set themselves up with that win to secure some higher seeding probably if they continue this throughout the Swiss stage.
100%. Valhalla looks like one of the teams that you have to be wary of right now, but I would like to point out 3-1 scoreline might be a bit misleading. This match was incredibly close. I think Mousketeers are also a team that we might see towards the top of the leaderboards come the end of the Swiss stage.
Yeah, I think both teams are exceptionally strong. There's so much happening for both of these squads, and I personally am just excited that we were able to cast this and that they will be able to, you know, move forward, get some better matches going forward in here. But that is going to wrap it up for us here on the desk. What a banger. Make sure that all of you are following us here on the Rainbow Open. Make sure that you're catching everything that's going on. And as a reminder, this whole tournament is also part of a what's the word? My brain sponsor, not sponsor.
Charity.
Charity. Thank you.
It's a charity fundraiser.
Word. It is a charity tournament for the Attic Youth Center. And make sure that you guys are checking out the Attic Youth Center's site. It's just atticyouthcenter.org, seeing what they're all about, and if you can, donate any money to a fantastic charity. But as I mentioned, that's going to be it for Toast and myself, and I hope that we're able to see you guys in the future for another cast.
It was